Irene, her family, her friends, and all the Jewish people of Europe had been betrayed by their fellow man. The betrayal prompts some of the most troubling questions surrounding the Holocaust. How did good people allow this to go on? Why didn't more people help?
It was very dangerous for people to show any kind of help or consideration to Jews. It was extremely dangerous because anyone who can point out another person that he helped a Jew or he hid a Jew or he gave him a meal or something was immediately interrogated and threatened. And their own families were in danger. There is no doubt about that. So the system of terror is such that everybody's terrorized, the victim and the victimizer. If they don't toe the line, they become the victims. So I understand that. But aside from that, once the propaganda took hold, there was such a fervor of believing that it's right to discriminate and to humiliate and to confiscate their stuff. There was such a fervor about it that it became patriotism of its own. And so people eagerly did it. They were eager to catch a Jew who was hiding and take him to the Gestapo, and they would be rewarded for it. So it turned from being victims themselves by not being able to associate with people and express an opinion, to totally falling for it, to believe it. And then even after the war, people would say, how could you have done such and such? It was the law. We followed the law. And the law spelled out all the things you could do to these people. And so it became part of patriotism, part of being loyal. It was no longer something that you didn't want to do. You wanted to do it, and you benefited from it.
Irene says that the system of terror that the Nazis instituted, the propaganda they used, and the effect of that propaganda on society are things we should never forget and never stop studying. What happened during the Holocaust was more than a historical event.
What I experienced and Jewish people experienced was something extraordinarily evil and extraordinarily different in the middle of the 20th century. That it wasn't part of the war. It was a genocide within the war. And you can't just say, well, it's over, people died in the war. No, this was some kind of a setback for Western civilization. And I don't think it's not only Jews who understand that, because I think it affected Christian religion in a big way, because the Christian Europe should have reacted better to it. It affected morality, the power structure of what people can do to each other. It was just some kind of a breakdown of civilization in a bigger way than just what war can do. War has certain rules. It's not obeyed, but there are rules for war. You have to avoid to hurt civilians, and it doesn't always carry it out, but this had no rules. The rule here was kill and kill and kill, and most of all kill young children so there won't be a new generation, kill childbearing women so there won't be a new generation, kill the old and the sick because they're useless, and confiscate their property and annihilate a whole group of people without ever being charged of any kind of crime. There was something very vicious and subhuman in carrying out such a scheme. So it has to be talked about.